A Trump administration will end this war on the American worker.
First, we have to build an economy that works for everyone, not just those at the top.
We have to stop our jobs from being stolen from us.
I want us to invest in you. That means jobs in infrastructure, in advanced manufacturing, in innovation and technology.
People are tired of lies. They're tired of losing their jobs. They're tired of seeing their companies being ripped out and going to other places.
This is not reality TV. This is real. It's as real as it gets.
The American economy has been built on constant adaptation, and it's shifting again now. As Deb and I have traveled around the country in the past year, we've been struck that while politicians are concentrating on specific industries that are struggling or fading or already gone, they may be missing something that matters more for the future. That around the country there are new signs of hope. When we come to a town like this, we learn a lot from meeting people, but even if you didn't talk to a single person, you just drove in from the airport, you would see a couple of the marks of just a city that's in transition. One is the kind of physical relics.
These factories where the roofs are caving in and all the shingles are off and you can see through from one end to the other.
The unemployment rate here, it's higher than average for the state and for the country. So it's a poor city in a poor part of the state that's had a lot of dislocation.
How long have you been in Erie for?
71 years. And I worked at Inland Container. We did corrugated board. We made boxes. And they closed in '98. I can't remember all the places that closed down, but there was several of them over the years. I know I have a lot of friends, a lot of relatives that moved out of Erie because they couldn't find a decent job.
When I arrived in the fall of '68, we had so many large companies that now have gone out of business, and GE was huge. It's been very devastating to the community. There just isn't the job opportunities around here.
Erie is a very, very clear example. Something we've seen all over the place of people of our generation who are downcast about their city and their prospects. And
Dreary Erie.
Dreary Erie. But here, even more clearly in other places we've been, people in their mid-20s through mid-30s are thinking, we're tired of this moaning. We never expected to work at GE anyway. And so we're going to start our own tech company, our own small craft work. You know, we're young. The future is good for us.
I'm Andrew Trnowskis. I'm one of the co-founders of Radius Cowork. We're right in the heart of downtown Erie, and it's an office space where small businesses and entrepreneurs can gather and collaborate and get work done and meet with clients and grow their business.
My purpose is to help small and medium-sized businesses build better brands.
We are a videography and video production company.
So Render Effects is an online plug-and-play motion graphics maker.
We're showing people that, you can take that other path and be successful rather than working that, industrial job or that 9 to 5 in a factory.
There's a lot of opportunity, these perceived weaknesses in Erie are actually our strengths. I understand from one aspect it's a bit depressing to drive into downtown area and you see these abandoned warehouses, But on the other hand, it's a potential startup building we're driving by. We have, access to high-speed internet and the ability to create something new here.
We're really proud of what we do. We grow food and fiber for a hungry world, and that's really satisfying. And it's a great way to make a living, as long as you're not worried about paying the bills.
About 10% of jobs in the U.S. are in agriculture and its related industries. That number is significantly higher in the San Joaquin Valley. But farmers in the region have been struggling lately because of drought, the commodities market, and rising labor costs.
In a globalized market, I compete with everybody on the planet who thinks they can grow wheat. The market doesn't care what my costs are.
There's a certain romanticism to farming. Everybody, being connected to the soil. I look at it as a business, as a factory. We're producing a product, in this case, table grapes, and I need to be on top of every aspect.
John Farinelli and his son have been trying to diversify their business with new technology to automate work on the farm. For the next generation of Farinelli farmers, this type of work offers much more appeal.
So the Nautilus system is a web-based control and monitoring system for agriculture. So we can control the pumps, the valves, we can control fertilizer injection, chemical injection, we can monitor flow, pressure. Automation is really the way to ensure that things happen like they're supposed to.
So Fresno is certainly known as an agricultural city, but it isn't enough. It's never been enough. We have, despite wonderful successes in the agricultural industry, we've failed to sort of diversify as a city, and as a result, we've been largely a poor city for our history, and so we know that we need something else.
Fresno is developing a new tech industry in part thanks to people like Jake. Bitwise started as a small tech center in an unused downtown building, but it catalyzed a new tech scene in Fresno. The Bitwise building is now home to over 100 companies, and the founders also started GeekWise Academy, which teaches coding and tech skills to students old and young.
When we talk about making programmers out of our population, we're not talking about making programmers out of existing middle class. We're talking about making programmers out of maybe the poorest population in the United States. And so we take that farm worker, or maybe his or her son, and we say, let's introduce you to something different that the world has told you can't do. And what happens is a genius in that person is revealed, and all of a sudden there's a new way of doing things. And collectively, as you have that story told over and over and over again, a city has been completely transformed by its own people, not by something rescuing in from the outside, but by its own people demanding something better for itself.
Well, I think the headline for Fresno right now nationally is that Fresno is a city that's making a huge comeback. And we've literally seen those headlines when it comes to our financial situation here in the city of Fresno, a city that almost went bankrupt just a few years ago today, that's had its credit rating increase, it's got its budget under balance, that has a stable and long-term financial picture at City Hall. Plus, we're really investing in the heart of our city and making sure that we see deteriorated parts of Fresno come back. The new high-speed rail station is going to be just one block to the west of us. So there's a lot of interest now in businesses relocating to the Fresno area. Once high-speed rail is available, it's going to be a 45-minute ride to Silicon Valley from here for about $80. It's going to be a very easy to access place for the rest of the state.
Oh, right now we're at Expo Center in Dodge City at the IFCA Feedlot Cowboys Team Roping Finals. I've been in the feedlot business since 1976, 78.
This part of southwest Kansas produces a quarter of the country's beef. Unemployment in the region is low, but the reliance on one industry means the region's success can feel precarious.
Beef prices are going down. It's just, right now it's a tough time. It's a tough time.
It's getting tougher and tougher for the feedlots. The market can fluctuate.
If we could get somebody that's not
$20 in 2 days. You know,
that would be great.
It's not like it used to be. It changed 50 cents in a month. 20 years ago. Now it changes $1 a day, up and down. So I just don't understand why it's doing it.
15 years ago, the people of Dodge City did something unusual. They voted to tax themselves permanently for investments in area facilities and infrastructure. The idea was to attract more diverse businesses to the region, to encourage tourism, and to improve their own quality of life.
And so we've done things like the arena, United Wireless Arena. We've taken care of our depot, the Expo Center in South Dodge, and then just recently we opened the Long Branch Lagoon, which has been a huge success.
And so from the outside, that seems almost incredible that a city was able to do that. It's a time at national level, state level, certainly here in Kansas, and local level in many communities where the idea of anything involving taxes is just taboo. Why was a city like this able to do it?
You know, something that I've recognized since I've lived in Dodge City is this community is just incredible at embracing things that need to happen for their city. And so we had the community behind us, and that's huge.
So our impression, over the couple of years we've been traveling around, is that if you ask people, how's the state of America, almost all of them say, oh, America's in terrible shape, we can't solve any of our problems. But you ask them about where they actually are and the place they have any control over themselves and any knowledge of, they say, oh yeah, we're headed in the right direction. The prevailing narrative we've seen is this really divided consciousness that people hear that the country is collapsing, but what they see around them is a place that has problems but is moving the right rather than the wrong direction. That's been part of the reality we're trying to convey. That's not just your own town where people feel that.